Hey everyone, welcome back to the Five Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie B. So today we're going to be talking about that viral moment of the little girl at Walmart, okay? Because as somebody who's worked on the inside of the school system, I need to tell you that that is exactly what the school system looks like, okay? And I remember being in a meeting for an EA meeting, being like, well, all I can picture this, because we would have this happen at the schools and they would just allow it to happen, and sometimes we didn't even tell the parents. Because we wouldn't want to upset the parents. And I specifically use the example, well, you couldn't just, as an adult, go into a grocery store and tear down all of the things on the shelves and not be arrested for it. So why are we letting it happen now? Turns out we are letting both of those happen, okay? And this is just a clear indication of where society is headed if we don't put a stop to this now. So let's get into it.
Just watch. Ooh. This is just in the middle of a Walmart. Throwing things. Great. Listen to the adults in the background. Don't touch her. Don't yell at her.
Don't report her. That was her name. You don't know what. Girl, you don't know what. Don't y'all do that to a little girl. Y'all don't know what she's supposed to do.
Brutal, savage rape.
This is extremely hard for me to talk about. It's very hard to watch that video. So I'm just going to talk. I'm going to upload. And that's going to be that. Okay? I've tried to do this so many times. Okay. This is triggering because this was the norm. This was my everyday occurrence at work. Picture all of those adults being children. Picture me being that man that steps in after she grabs glass. Picture the glass being my water bottle. Okay. These are traumatic situations that children are going through on a daily basis. Why? Because inclusion without support is abandonment. And we have basically let kids act like this without consequences because of their mental illness, when really that does nothing for them. They can and will act better if the whole team is on board, parents, schools, everybody. A student will have a way better chance at succeeding if everybody is on board with helping them. Now, there are a lot of times where parents get a call that their child is doing this, and and the parents will just say, I don't care. Okay? And then nothing gets done. So children will do this at school, have no consequences at school, no consequences at home. And they come back to school and do this behavior. And they get to do whatever they want. People will feel bad for them after they do this stuff. EAs will get blamed for their behavior. Now, who's fixing this? Is it the unions? Are the school boards? Who's advocating for educational assistance? It is the most violent job to do in Ontario, be an educational assistant. My days were filled with trauma. Okay, I'm going to go through a list of things that happened to me on a regular basis. Okay, ready? I have been choked so hard. The kid asked me to do up his coat, and he was not in a mood at all. Like, he was fine. I go down to zip up his coat for him. He grabs me and starts, because he was small. He was a child. And believe it or not, he wraps his arms around my neck, squeezes me in so tight that my glasses break as he's choking me. I've had water bottles whipped at my head. I've had my glass water bottle broken. I've been kicked so many times that there's been times where I've worked with certain kids and I'll come home and there's bruises all up and down my legs. I've been bit so hard I bled. I've been kicked while I was pregnant on purpose because I was pregnant. There's really not a week that I would go home without being abused physically. And you know, I don't care when kids would threaten me, like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill your family. That doesn't bother me as much. It's usually pretty empty-handed. But kids would say fucking mean things too, but the physical things were the most traumatic, and I didn't think that it was bothering me at first, and then all of a sudden it was, and I was having nightmares every night. This is like, can you believe that? And that's just what it happens to an EA. I get emotional because, you know, one time I was cornered in a closet and had a Bible whipped at my head. All of these things were happening, and the kid got to do the thing that they wanted to do, and I left work. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'm a union member, I can go. And I was just like, what do I, this is unsafe work, I refuse to work. What do you mean? I'm like sobbing because I did all of that. Like, I had the shit beat out of me. I was called all these names. I was threatened with my life. You know, I had a Bible whipped on my head, and he got to do what he wanted to do anyways. The woman was too stunned to speak. I literally was sobbing. I was like, what is this career? Like, what are we doing for these kids? Like, if he can't even get in trouble for that and he gets rewarded, what am I doing here? This is a glorified babysitter, and even babysitters have fucking rules for kids. Like, what is going on here? And, you know, I've had families where I've worked, and thank God my bulk of my COVID was me working with an excellent teacher, excellent student parents. Like, everybody was on board. It was great. Thank God. Because if I was, the whole point of usually EA switch at lunch, switch students, and it's because you're usually supposed to get a break because sometimes it can be a lot to handle. And we didn't get that, which is fine because they wanted as less people interacting as possible. But thank God I was, you know, where I was, because, oh my God. It would be the times where I would literally leave that situation and be plucked and put somewhere else where I'd have this shit beat out of me. And I'd be like, oh, okay, so, all right. Okay. I'll just, you know, this is not really vibing. And I'll do more videos about the school system, but I've talked about the school system on my TikTok before, and this to me seems to be across the board. The DEI nonsense. So Trump says he's getting in and he's going to put a stop to like SOGI and CRT, queer theory, all of those things. And I hope he does. I hope to God he does, because we have got to stop thinking that our children need to be social justice warriors and just let them be kids. Just because other kids are going through stuff does not mean that the other kids need to learn about it. You need to do what we used to do, which is a case-by-case basis, okay? Like, I was in grade 8 learning about domestic violence, and people didn't learn that till like grade 11 health or something, okay? And that's because they seen me being exposed to it, so I went to a class. That's what we need to go back to. This entire thing, it's so much more than all of this, you guys. It's so much more. But this is just the epitome of how this is translating into the real world. Okay? This is translating into the real world, like this little girl at Walmart thinking that, and everybody around her thinking it's okay for this to happen. This is not okay to happen. Okay? And when your child is doing this, you need to remove them. Not only for your own dignity, but theirs as well. This is 2024. People will have cameras and they will be recording your child. Okay? You're not going to have the confidentiality that you have in the school where this happens on a regular basis and your child just gets to get away with it. Okay? Once this start translating into real life, we seen a few weeks ago in America, there was I think a 15-year-old who got charged with killing their educational assistant, because real life consequences are real life. Okay? And if you have a disability or not, okay, you're still going to be in a facility because you're clearly a danger. And you can, that doesn't happen like that. You have lots of chances to make sure that that doesn't happen, okay? That includes your child having consequences for their shitty behavior. I don't care what a behavioral specialist comes and tells you. Don't have a restart after school. Lecture your child. Make them write a letter and apologize for the behaviors that they've done so they know that even if their brain isn't, even if they're not regulated right then, it doesn't matter. You're still responsible for the actions that you take against someone, and you need to apologize, okay? People will be like, oh, bring back the belt. No, just bring back consequences. Oh, you're in for recess. Oh, you gotta write lines. Oh, you're standing at the wall. Yeah, shame. Bring back shame sometimes, damn it. Okay. Anyways, have a good day, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you want more videos on what the schools look like and the school systems and all of that jazz, please let me know. Have a great weekend. I hope you guys have as much snow as we do.